that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
Because of Diddy.
Basically.
Someone cheats and they have a child with someone else, that's my boundary. That's, for me, that's where I draw the line. And so with that happening, it made it a little easier to leave.
This is the real story told in a court about Sean Diddy Combs. A news group called Inner City Press told about it. When Al B. Sure walked into the courtroom, everyone became very quiet. He was not there as a famous person or someone who used to be close to Diddy. He came as a man who said he almost died because he knew too many secrets. His voice made the story feel scary. He looked serious when he talked about the warnings he got. Al had a sudden sickness and went into a coma, which means he was asleep and could not wake up, but doctors did not know why. Before that, he had scary talks with a woman named Kim. Now Al is telling the court that Diddy might have done bad things not just before but maybe also recently. Kim Porter gave Al something important before she died in a strange way. Kim was once full of happiness and life, but now people only talk about her death in quiet voices and papers from doctors. Al says that Kim's death was not what people were told, and what happened to him after makes him more sure about this. This story is not about music only. It is about secrets hidden with people who died. It is a big and serious story that has been waiting to be told for many years. When Al came into the courtroom, the feeling was very tense, like everyone was nervous. Al was not just any person telling a story. He knew Kim Porter well. Kim had said many times that her death was not normal. Al wore a nice dark suit and sat down, looking straight at Diddy. Al B. Sure took a short pause and looked straight ahead. You could feel the room get very serious. For many years, people did not believe Al's story. They thought it was made up, or that he just wanted attention. But now, in court, he was telling the truth and everyone had to listen carefully. Al started talking about Kim. He told everyone how she laughed, how full of energy she was, and how much she loved her kids. It surprised everyone. Al said, "You trust people too much. If you keep being so open, someone might hurt you or worse." Before, he didn't understand what Kim meant by this. Now he did. Al said Kim told him she was scared for her life. She thought that the people close to Diddy were not just helping but were very dangerous. The judge told Al to talk only about the important things. Al took a deep breath and said, "I'm here because..." Then Al told what happened before he got very sick in 2022. The doctors said many of his body parts stopped working. This was strange because Al was healthy and had no signs of being sick. It was like his body suddenly stopped working. Al said, "I think what happened to Kim was not normal, and what happened to me was not an accident." When he said this, people in the room gasped in surprise. Al stopped for a moment and then said, "This wasn't the first time I felt like someone was trying to hurt me." Reporters quickly shared news from the courtroom. The court said Al was asked by the court to come and tell what he knew. At first, Al didn't want to come because he was scared. But then he realized that staying quiet was like dying for real. He said if he didn't speak now, everything he had lived through and what Kim tried to tell us by dying would be wasted. When Al was asked about how he and Kim Porter were in her last years, he didn't hide anything. He said, "We were close and talked a lot, even if we weren't a couple anymore. We respected each other, and I was worried about her. She was scared." Al then told one of the last big secrets. People in the hallways understood this was not just a normal celebrity court case. Al said Kim had a notebook, maybe a diary. It had names, dates, and places written inside. She told him, "They are watching me. They listen to my phone calls. I feel like someone is always outside my house." The lawyers who wanted to prove Diddy was guilty listened carefully. Al said what happened to him was not an accident. Kim was getting ready to share secrets that could ruin many people. She wanted to show how Diddy used threats, tricks, and spying to control her and others around him. Then came a shocking fact. A private detective working for Diddy tried to take Kim's personal things from her house after she died. But the house. Al told the court about a scary time after Kim died. He said he told the police what Kim had told him and asked them to look into it. But the police just laughed and said he was being paranoid. They told him to go to grief counseling instead. That same day, A friend warned him not to talk to the media. Kim's phone, laptop, and notes were all gone, like someone knew exactly what to take. The lawyers showed medical papers that proved Al suddenly got very sick and had to go to the hospital. Al said, "It felt like someone wanted me out of the way. They couldn't stop Kim from talking, so they tried to stop me. I was lucky to survive." This was not just old rumors. Al was telling the truth under oath with real dates and facts. Al said yes when asked about Kim's secret book. She told him she had written it and kept it in a safe place, but he never saw it. After she died, no one talked about it anymore. The courtroom was shocked when Al said he almost died too. It wasn't just because he was sick. He believed someone tried to hurt him. He said he suddenly collapsed in October 2022 and was put in a quarantine. He was in a special coma for more than 2 months. His liver and kidneys stopped working like someone switched them off. Al said he was about to meet a journalist to tell them what Kim had told him before he got sick. But the interview never happened because he went into a coma just days later. Al didn't stop there. He also talked about other people connected to Diddy and Uptown Records who had died in strange ways. Al said that many people who knew Kim and Diddy were also working on books or stories about what happened, but all of them died before they could finish. He said, "You tell me that's just a coincidence." He also shared something new. A few weeks before he went into a coma, he got a flash drive from someone who didn't say who they were. The flash drive had voice messages, names, dates, and other information that he didn't understand at first. Al read part of a letter Kim had written to him just a few days before she died. In the letter, Kim said, "I'm scared. If something happens, take care of Quincy." She also said her security cameras were turned off that night, and she felt like someone knew exactly when she would be vulnerable. At this point, even Diddy looked worried. He asked his lawyer if he could take a break, but the judge said no. The courtroom was very quiet. Then Al said the scariest thing. "There was a bounty on my head." At first, he didn't believe it and thought it was just fear. But the room felt very serious. This wasn't just a story. It was a warning from someone who had died. Al said it's like a survival feeling after all the danger. He told about a time in early 2023 when a music industry insider he knew told him that powerful people were tired of him asking questions. He was told to stop talking about Kim in interviews, to delete strange posts on social media, and to forget the past. It wasn't a joke. It was a threat. Then Al started getting anonymous messages saying, "Stay out of it, don't." In 2023, Al told the police 2 times that someone had messed with his car and sent him scary messages. But the police didn't find proof and closed the cases. Now, under oath, Al explained everything. He said, "I'm not saying Diddy told anyone to hurt me," but added, "When powerful people feel trapped, they don't do dirty work themselves. They use their money to do it." Then Al said something shocking. Someone who used to work for Bad Boy Records tried to reach out to him through a middleman. They wanted to give him $500,000 if he said publicly that he wasn't worried and took back what he said about Kim's death. Al said no. He told the jury, "I couldn't live with myself. She meant too much. And my son." Al said he had been sleeping with a gun near his bed for the past year. He hired private security, changed his phone number many times, and stopped doing interviews. "It felt like someone was following me, but I couldn't prove it. Now I'm here, and I know they're listening." The prosecutors agreed. The judge then asked about November 15, 2018, the day Kim Porter was found dead. Prosecutors asked Al to tell what he knew about that day and the days before. They said, "We will show more proof that someone tried to stop Mr. Shore from talking and threatened him." This made everyone in the courtroom tense because if true, it could mean more serious charges. Al said, "It was a normal week. We were all there to celebrate Quincy's Netflix deal. Me, Kim, Diddy, and the kids." He described Kim as healthy and happy, dancing with her kids, laughing with friends, and not sick at all. But Kim told him she felt nervous. When he asked why, she said, "I feel like someone is watching me again." This wasn't the first time she said this, and it worried him. Al said someone close to the house staff told him that Kim was not found peacefully in her bed like people were told. Instead, she was found on the bathroom floor near the tub. There were bloodstains on her pillowcase and a trail from the bed to the bathroom. Al said he tried to see the autopsy report but was not allowed. When I asked why it was sealed, nobody answered. The more I asked, the more people avoided me. Al also talked about the 911 call. Official records say Kim was found unconscious around 11 a.m., but Al said Kim made a 911 call at 2:43 a.m. If she called that early, why didn't anyone help her sooner? And if she was sick, why did they say she died from pneumonia? Whispers got louder in the courtroom as Al kept talking. He said, if Kim called for help at 2:43 a.m. and was in trouble, why wasn't she found until almost 9 hours later? And why does the coroner say she was found in bed when I have private photos that show something different? The prosecutors asked the judge if they could add new photos as evidence. Then, in a tense moment, Al said there were recordings made by Kim herself. She used an old tape recorder because she didn't trust phones. They could be hacked. Al said the tapes had hours of Kim talking on the phone, talking to helpers, and even arguing with Diddy. She told Al that if anything happened to her, those tapes would tell the truth. But after she died, when Al asked the family about the tapes, they said the tapes were missing. Al also said Kim was secretly working on a book about her life. She told him, "It's not just my story, it's everyone's story. I want to tell the truth about the music world, about Diddy, about what it means to survive." Kim was scared of what might happen if she told everything, but she felt it had to be told. She said, "If I don't write it, someone else will make up stories when I'm gone." Al explained that Kim wasn't the only one writing a story. Andre Harold, who helped Diddy early on, was also working on a memoir before he died suddenly in 2020. Heavy D, another artist, also died unexpectedly. Al said he spoke with Andre in 2011, and Andre said he would tell the truth in his book. Al asked the jury, what do all these people have in common? They all knew Diddy, they all had stories, and now they are all gone. Al finished this part by saying, I believe Kim didn't die from pneumonia. She died because she kept too many secrets. I almost died next. The room got very quiet as Al told about waking up from a coma. Doctors and his family were shocked. He said softly, they told me I had multi-organ failure. They didn't know why. I was healthy, then suddenly collapsed. The prosecutors said they would show medical proof that connected to what happened to Al in 2022. Before Al's coma, someone claiming to speak for an old friend, who Al later thought was Diddy, contacted him. This person told Al to stop talking about Kim and offered money to keep quiet. Al said no, and then strange things began. His home Wi-Fi stopped working for days, his car tires were cut, and he caught someone trying to get into his building. The person ran away. Al said he got sick fast, couldn't breathe or eat, and spent days in the hospital. He woke up a month later in the ICU. Toxicology tests showed poisons in his blood that he never took. Doctors said he had been poisoned. But the official report only said, unknown complications. When asked if he thought this was an attack, Al said, yes, I think I was silenced on purpose. I'm not the only one. People who know the truth around this man get sick, disappear, or die. No police report was made about the poisoning. Al also shared a scary story Kim told him. She saw someone try to mess with her wine at a dinner. At first, she thought it was a joke, but she got very worried and stayed paranoid after that. Diddy sat quietly, looking at the floor, not even at Al. The judge told the prosecutors to give the jury Al's full medical records. This wasn't just a singer telling a story anymore. It was a man who almost died. The prosecutors then showed evidence from private investigators Al hired after he got better. The investigators found proof that Al was being followed by unknown people during public events. There were videos from car cameras, store cameras, and phone locations that all showed a clear pattern of being watched. When I went to Quincy's Netflix screening, I saw a man in sunglasses filming me. He disappeared when I turned to face him, but I kept seeing him at different places. I'm not crazy. I've lived long enough to know when someone wants you gone, but the most unsettling part was when Al recalled a conversation he had with Kim just months before she passed away. He said, if anything happens, look deeper and don't allow Quincy get close to Sean unless you're there, in my opinion. Kim's voicemail to Al, which was recovered from his phone backups, was played in court. It was sent weeks before she passed away and had never been heard before. Her voice was calm but trembling, saying, hey, it's me. I don't want to text this, so I'm just calling. Something doesn't feel right lately. If something happens, you need to. Al continued, She was scared and she had reason to be. Her phones were tapped, her home had cameras she didn't install. She told the truth. Don't let them write my ending. You know what we've seen, what we've lived through. Watch your back. All this voicemail changed the mood in the courtroom. Members of the jury looked shaken. One even wiped away tears. The defense tried to argue that the message could be interpreted in many ways, but the emotional impact was already done. She once discovered a recording device in her child's stuffed animal. And you believe she recently passed away from pneumonia. According to Al, Kim had intended to leave Los Angeles in early 2019, telling him she wanted to go somewhere safe with the kids where no one could find her, but she never had the opportunity. In the last part of AL's testimony, he mentioned the project that allegedly led to Kim's death. A book, not the one that was published with sanitized diary entries, but an unpublished manuscript that Kim had been compiling covertly since 2012. She kept everything in a black notebook, which Al testified she called her lifeline. It contained names, dates, voice memos, burner phones, and all of the recording. Kim was planning to publish the book under a pseudonym through a European publisher, and she even gave Al a sneak peek at one of the chapters, which described her first experience with Diddy's darkroom parties. The jury was clearly moved, and some audience members, including women who claimed to have worked with Kim, were seen crying when Al read a passage from an email Kim once sent him that he had saved. "If this gets me killed, know that I did my best. I don't want to be remembered as some model or music mogul's ex. I want my story told honestly, even if it comes from the grave." Another revealed violent outbursts that no one ever spoke about. The prosecution rested when Al B. Shore stepped down from the witness stand, not as a distraught ex or musician, but as a man who might have just helped uncover one of the darkest, most meticulously buried secrets in hip-hop history. She was a mother, a survivor, and someone who finally got tired of being silenced. Now, I owe it to her to ensure that the silence ends. Because it wasn't merely testimony. Rumors about what Al had just revealed persisted throughout the day.